Catherine Delahunty.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. Kia ora te whare. Mr Speaker, last week the government participated in the Pacific Island Forum, and it was a dismal and unprincipled failure in terms of a country's leadership in the Pacific. We are a small colonised nation of considerable wealth at the bottom of the world in Te Moana Nui Ākiwa. And not only did our government fail to support the Pacific nations on climate targets, which is incredibly serious at the front line of sea level rise, but they also failed to support the fact-finding mission to West Papua. Now, the fact-finding mission to West Papua was a call of the Indigenous people of Papua. It was also a call of a number of the Pacific Island nations and leaders, because this is a growing issue right across the Pacific. So let's have a look at New Zealand's response at the government delegation level at the forum, where many people were waiting for leadership. Mr McCulley, first of all, kicked things off with his "I know my place" quip. Is he either a doormat or a doorstop for the Indonesian government? That is what we would like to know. Because, in fact, Mr McCulley is not taking responsibility for the human rights abuses, let alone the independence and freedom abuses, that are documented, and there's a new report out today on this. There is torture documentation regularly, there are human rights abuses, there are political prisoners, and there are a number of calls for a high-level fact-finding mission, which culminated at the Pacific Island Forum this very year. So Murray McCulley knows his place. That is not the statement of a statesman. It is a statement of a doormat. Then we have the Prime Minister's comments. So the Prime Minister followed up Mr McCulley's statements with that Indonesia didn't think that we should be meddling in their political issues. Mr Key is now the spokesperson for Indonesia. Does he not recall in the 1990s the fact-finding missions that we participated in with pride to East Timor? East Timor and West Papua, there are severe parallels between these two countries. But instead of supporting a fact-finding mission, as we did in the 1990s several times to East Timor, our government is the doormat and won't meddle because the Indonesians don't like it. So instead of speaking proudly as a Pacific nation alongside other Pacific nations at the Pacific Island Forum, Mr McCulley and Mr Key have let down the people of West Papua. Now, it's very disturbing to also see Mr Key say that this was a matter of a bilateral issue between Papua New Guinea and Indonesia. So he has abandoned our responsibility to speak out, although we are more powerful and less vulnerable than Papua New Guinea, who face the Indonesian army on their border, who have refugee camps from West Papua on their border. Oh no, New Zealand will back away from its responsibilities and be a doormat to Indonesia. It's very disturbing when, in fact, the Melanesian Spearhead Group has welcomed West Papua this year to be an observer member, a big breakthrough for the campaign, but not because of leadership from this part of the world. Instead, this part of the world is abrogating its responsibilities. So the government of the Solomon Islands was particularly clear and brave in speaking up at the Pacific Island Forum, as well as the Melanesian Spearhead, about the importance of addressing the abuses. There was fulsome support across the Pacific nations, apart from New Zealand and Australia, for a high-level fact-finding mission. And in fact, Peter O'Neill, the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, will be going to Jakarta to discuss the importance of a fact-finding mission. However, New Zealand and Australia will not support, and New Zealand is a doormat to Indonesian foreign policy because of trade, because of the advantages of trade. We will sacrifice people, ethics, human rights, and our commitment to other Pacific nations in the name of solidarity with Indonesian trade and Indonesian colonial violence against West Papua. So for the people who protested and who rallied in support of West Papua right across the Pacific and outside the Pacific Island Forum in Papua New Guinea, it was a good day because they are going forward with a fact-finding mission. But no thanks, Mr Speaker, no thanks to our Minister of Foreign Affairs or our Prime Minister. With a heavy heart, I have to say, well done, Pacific nations, except for this one. Shame on us. Kia ora tātou.
The time for this debate has expired.